I remember being 5 years old and watching the original Dragon Ball series on TV. Sure, it didn't have the most intense fights, with the characters throwing lasers and destroying planets, but in my opinion, it had the best writing in the entire franchise. It was a show you could just put on, relax, and get immersed with Goku's journey. Whether he was searching for the Dragon Balls or dealing with goofy villains like Pilaf and the Red Ribbon Army. It is quite known in the Dragon Ball community that many fans started with Z and not the original Dragon Ball due to broadcasting. But so many years after the fact, I never understood why so many of them never gave the original series a chance. By skipping the original Dragon Ball series, you're skipping the introduction of characters such as Tien, Piccolo, and even members of the Red Ribbon Army who all play a crucial role in Dragon Ball Z. I believe one of the reasons why people don't go back to the original Dragon Ball series is due to pacing itself. Though you could always read the manga and enjoy Kiritorium's timeless art. Toei Animation officially revealed the first Dragon Ball DAIMA trailer on October 12, 2023 during New York Comic Con. It quickly became controversial and divided the fan base. A lot of fans wanted a continuation of Dragon Ball Super, but some fans were quick to notice that this was another attempt at a Dragon Ball GT. They were right. Despite that, I was quite open-minded about it. Though I really wasn't particularly excited, I still appreciated that they were tributing both the original series and GT. I could tell the creators were trying to recapture the light-hearted, adventurous tone of the original Dragon Ball series, and for the most part I believe DAIMA did this pretty well. I also liked how the plot was connected to the Buu saga, making it feel like a more natural continuation of the arc. The story revolves around Goma, a paranoid villain, witnessing the death of Majin Buu via the Z Warriors. He decides that he doesn't want to mess with them in a one-to-one confrontation, so he decides to go to Earth and turn them into children using the Dragon Balls. Not only that, but Goma managed to kidnap Dende. It sounds kinda stupid, but that's intentional. Goma is initially written as a dumb villain, essentially serving as a serious version of Pilaf. His only real purpose is to give the Z Warriors a reason to chase after him. Then we meet Glorio, a mysterious character who initially seems like he was going to be an antagonist of the series. We're also introduced to characters such as Pansy, who is best described as a mini Bulma, to be honest. Honestly though, I didn't care for either of them, as I don't particularly think they were good characters. Glorio though, had potential, but ended up being underdeveloped. Pansy, on the other hand, it's a very one-dimensional character who's mostly there to fix up a ship when the characters need her most. She doesn't add much to the story, and both are pretty forgettable, to be honest. I know Glorio made his choice at the end and betrays Aransu, but to be honest, I couldn't care less. We had no idea about the relationship between them, and it was never really shown. To me, Glorio just felt underbaked. They tried to give Shin some character, but to be honest, he had as much plot significance as he did in the Buu saga. This is around the time when I started losing excitement for the show. It kept getting repetitive, such as the ship broke down or someone sold the Dragon Ball and we have to get them. Later, the group is joined by Vegeta, Bulma, and this guy. During Vegeta's fight, he causes the first inconsistency by tapping into Super Saiyan 3, which he never did during Super. This doesn't really make sense when you consider the fact that Vegeta got super angry at Beerus and didn't even tap towards Super Saiyan 3, only going Super Saiyan 2, which felt like a plot hole. Not only that, but Bulma was also just in the series just to be there, having Pan doing all the technical stuff, and even characters such as Piccolo has no role to play other than aura farming in DAIMA, like he always does. I've seen many people bring up the lore about the Namekians we got, and the Kaioshin also, but to be honest, it doesn't really make characters such as Shin and Piccolo relevant to the story, because that's just lore, not writing. There was an entire episode where the characters were just hiding from a giant creature, and it felt like the entire episode was a waste of time, didn't progress the plot or the story at all. In my opinion, it was definitely the worst episode in the entire show. One of the newly introduced characters is Neva. Neva is a Namekian who created the original Dragon Balls in the Demon Realm, and is one of the oldest Namekians alive. He starts off as a mysterious character who could have some ulterior motives, but in the end he turns out to guide the main characters. I think most of his plot relevance was to give the lore to the audience. Don't get me wrong, knowing more about the Dragon Ball universe is always cool and interesting, but it doesn't make up for good writing. And then we approach the finale. I always believed Goku was going to transform into Super Saiyan 4, since the GT references was quite obvious in the show. Sure, it came out of nowhere. I agree with the criticism that it's nostalgia fan service, but in my opinion, this was fan service done well. Everything about the design was really good, and they gave us one of the best Dragon Ball transformations ever. But at the minimum, I was expecting some explanation to why Goku never used Super Saiyan 4 in Dragon Ball Super. And in the finale, Goku tells Vegeta that he had Super Saiyan 4 via his training even before DAIMA began. Though looking back, I think GT's explanation is a lot better. Goku gets Super Saiyan 4 by merging the power of the Great Ozaru and Super Saiyan. The most shocking thing to me about the entire final battle was that Goma was indeed the final villain of the show. I was expecting some type of twist at the end, but no, it was Goma all along. I know it's supposed to be a gag like Pilaf from the original Dragon Ball, but what people don't remember is that the original Dragon Ball had some of the darkest and one of the best arcs in the entire franchise.
He's gone. He's gone. It should have been me. Please don't go.
And Piccolo Daima was not a goofy villain. Wouldn't it be better if Daima was an amalgamation of all the Dragon Ball arcs? Like starting out comedy heavy with Goma serving as Pilaf in the first arc, and in the last arc we can have something similar to like Daima Piccolo arc, having a more threatening villain. If they can make Broly or Super Saiyan 4 canon, why not Janemba? And I genuinely believe that Super Saiyan 4 deserved to be reintroduced into the franchise to get a better fight with a natural threat. I think Janemba could serve that purpose well, and I think most fans would be super excited to see Super Saiyan 4 vs Janemba. Fusion bugs were introduced early on in the series, hinting at a third fusion, but unfortunately it was never used, and just made it all the more confusing to the audience. It's not like I wanted Goku to fuse again, maybe Piccolo or Vegeta this time, or have it that Duenku eats them thinking it's candy but they get fused into a one being. At least use the concept after introducing it. The final battle ends with Ku becoming the new Demon King, and to be honest, I quite like Ku. He's a very entertaining character, same with Aransu, who seemed to be the villain at first but turned out to be a morally grey person. Her dynamic with Ku was also great to watch. Goku achieving Super Saiyan 4 begs the question why he never used it in Super, because the inconsistency makes it feel like a separate continuity similar to GT. But I think the truth is neither that Toriyama nor Toei cared enough to keep the continuity consistent, which I think they should have paid a bit more effort towards, knowing that Dragon Ball fans actually obsess over every single detail of the story. I really like Super Saiyan 4, and I think it's the second best Super Saiyan design we ever got in the entire franchise, but it being used again in Daima makes it feel irrelevant to Super, and we won't see it much again. Daima ends with a post-credit scene of Goku and the others going back to the shop, and finding out there are more evil eyes. People are speculating whether it will lead to a season 2 of Daima, or a new movie for Daima, but in all honesty, it's not going to happen. I believe this was just one final gag from the creator Akira Toriyama. One of the things I disliked the most about Daima was the pacing itself. The show was too fast-paced, and it didn't give time to develop the characters or develop characters such as Pansy or Gloria. It's not like I wanted the show to be long, but I think they didn't utilize their time well. Most of the episodes were repetitive, and many of them were just losing their ship, or their ship gets broken down and they have to find a new ship or repair it. In conclusion, I just think Daima's story was not as adventurous or grand as it could be. It's not like I hate Daima or anything like that. In fact, I was actually quite supportive of Daima in the beginning, especially against the haters who, in retrospect, didn't give Daima a shot before it actually started. Overall, I don't think Daima's a bad show. I just believe that it could have been far better if given more episodes or better pacing. Daima ending only left people very confused and had more questions than answers. Best thing about the show in my opinion was the animation and art quality. Daima is the best Dragon Ball that's ever looked on TV, and it has one of the best animations to date. The closest piece of Dragon Ball art that I can even compare it to would be Dragon Ball Broly, but overall, Daima and Broly are magnificent. And whenever Super eventually returns, I hope they keep the same quality as Dragon Ball Daima. My overall rating for Daima is a 6.5 out of 10. I know this isn't the most positive review of Dragon Ball Daima, but I just want to at least say that I have nothing but respect for Akira Toriyama and his great work. Even though I didn't like the show as much as I wished for, I could appreciate Akira Toriyama trying to give us a product that all Dragon Ball fans would enjoy. Thank you guys for watching, considering like and subscribing. Please let me know in the comments what are your thoughts about Dragon Ball Daima. See you later. Also, where the fuck was Gohan?